behind every soulful hit that topped the charts in the mid-20th century, a silent shadow was pulling the strings. You think you know the story of Motown and the blues, but the real power resided in backroom deals brokered by the mob. Millions were stolen from black pioneers through a rhythmic heist that turned music into a criminal currency. Two black artists, mobsters, exploiters, millions stolen. By the time we're done, you'll understand how organized crime didn't just control the charts, they controlled everything. Number 1, Ruth Brown, built Atlantic Records, told she owed them $30,000, 1949 to 1988.
I wouldn't be blue and lonely, well, if you'd come back to me.
Washington, D.C., Ruth Brown was 19 years old, singing at a nightclub called the Crystal Caverns for $30 a week.
Baby, won't you hurry, 'cause I'll miss you so.
Radio DJ Willis Conover caught her act and called Ahmet Ertegun.
If you were here, so baby.
Ertegun and Herb Abramson, founders of Atlantic Records, drove down from New York. They heard Ruth sing, and they signed her on the spot. On her way to New York to formalize the contract, Ruth's car crashed in Chester, Pennsylvania. Both legs broken in multiple places, hospitalized for 11 months.
Well, remember the night you told.
Atlantic paid her medical bills, visited her in the hospital, and Ahmet Ertegun had her sign the contract from her hospital bed.
I'd wear a smile if you.
Ruth thought Atlantic cared about her. She was wrong. Ruth recorded So Long. It became a hit. Teardrops from My Eyes, number 1 on the R&B chart for 11 weeks. Between 1949 and 1955, Ruth Brown's record stayed on the R&B charts for 149 weeks total.
Be blue and lonely, well, if you'd come back to me.
21 top 10 hits, 5 number 1s. Mama, He Treats Your Daughter Mean. 5, 10, 15 hours. Oh, what a dream.
He treats your daughter mean.
Ruth Brown was Atlantic Records. The label was nicknamed The House That Ruth Built, like Yankee Stadium was called The House That Ruth Built for Babe Ruth.
He treats your daughter mean.
Ruth Brown built Atlantic Records from nothing, made them millions. But Atlantic never paid her royalties. You would go in and record singles, Ruth said, either 2 sides or 4. You'd get $69 or $70 a side. That's it. No royalties, no percentages, nothing.
And it's raining, teardrops from my eyes.
White artists like Patti Page and Georgia Gibbs would cover Ruth songs, strip the soul out of them, whitewash them.
Although the sun is shining, there's no.
Those artists got on the Ed Sullivan Show. Ruth never did.
If you were here, so baby.
By 1960, Ruth's hits had slowed. Musical tastes were changing. Atlantic no longer needed her. They dropped her.
I wouldn't be blue and lonely, well, if you'd come back to me.
And then Atlantic sent Ruth a letter. According to their accounting, she owed them $30,000. Band expenses, production costs, recording fees, travel, all charged to her account. Ruth Brown, the woman who built Atlantic Records, was told she was in debt to them. She had no money, no royalties, nothing.
Well, if you see clouds.
To survive, Ruth worked as a maid, a school bus driver, a teacher's aide. The queen of R&B was scrubbing floors on Long Island.
Although the sun is shining, there's no.
I felt responsible for being negligent, Ruth said, for not taking care of business. I wasn't getting any royalties at the time.
I wouldn't be blue and lonely, well, if you'd come back to me.
In her desperation, Ruth called Ahmet Ertegun, asked for help. Ertegun wrote her a check for $1,000. Ruth called it crumbs from a rich man's label. For every Picasso he had hanging on his wall, she said, I had a damp patch on mine. By the 1980s, Ruth had had enough. She found a lawyer, a huge R&B fan who worked pro bono. He started digging into Atlantic's books. What he found was explosive. Atlantic had been charging Ruth and dozens of other early black R&B artists for items not allowed in their contracts. Packaging, remixing, artwork, fees that were supposed to be Atlantic's responsibility. Atlantic was siphoning money from royalty accounts. Smoking gun evidence, the lawyer said. This wasn't just Ruth, this was industry-wide. Atlantic claimed Ruth's total sales for all her reissues over 25 years amounted to $785. And she still owed them money. The lawyer threatened to bring RICO charges, racketeering charges. That would make Atlantic a criminal enterprise. Caught in a lie too big to evade, Atlantic settled. Atlantic agreed to waive unrecouped debts for Ruth Brown and 35 other musicians. They paid 20 years of retroactive royalties.
Baby, won't you hurry, 'cause I miss you so.
But that wasn't enough for Ruth. She and her lawyer shamed Atlantic into doing more. Atlantic paid over $2 million to form the Rhythm and Blues Foundation.
I'd wear a smile if you.
A non-profit organization to provide financial and medical aid to aging R&B artists who'd been exploited. Other major labels followed suit. Ruth Brown didn't just win for herself, she won for an entire generation of black artists who'd been stolen from. In 1989, Ruth won a Tony Award for her role in the Broadway musical Black and Blue, Grammy Award for Best Jazz Vocal, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She continued touring, acting, advocating for musicians' rights until her death in 2006.
I love would always be. I wouldn't be.
Ruth Brown lived to see justice, but only after decades of exploitation.
Well, remember the night you told me.
Only after scrubbing floors and driving buses. Only after the label she built told her she owed them $30,000. That's how the mob exploited soul.
Listen, 90% of you watching right now aren't subscribed yet. If these stories are blowing your mind, imagine what you're missing. Hit subscribe, turn on that bell, and join the 200,000 R&B fans who never miss a Groove Lens upload.
Number 2, Frankie Lymon. Sold his rights for $1,500. Died at 25, 1956 to 1968.
Why do they fall in love?
Harlem, New York. Frankie Lymon was 12 years old. He sang doo-wop under the streetlight on the corner of 165th and Amsterdam with his friends. They called themselves the Teenagers. Herman Santiago, Jimmy Merchant, Sherman Garnes, Joe Negroni, and Frankie, 5 kids, all in their early teens. One day, a neighbor gave them love letters his girlfriend had written to him, hoping to inspire the boys to write their own songs.
Why do birds sing so gay?
Jimmy Merchant and Herman Santiago adapted one of the letters into a song, Why Do Fools Fall in Love?
Why do fools fall in love? Why do they fall in love?
The Teenagers got an audition with record producer George Goldner. On the day of the audition, original lead singer Santiago was late.
And love was my way to break the day. Why?
Frankie stepped up and told Goldner he knew the part since he helped write the song. And when Frankie opened his mouth, everything changed.
And be ashamed, I know of a fool you see.
That high, sweet falsetto, like an angel. Nobody had ever heard anything like it. January 1956. Why Do Fools Fall in Love was released on G Records. It hit number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 1 on the R&B chart.
Why does the rain fall from above? Why?
Sold over 1 million copies. Frankie Lymon was 13 years old and the hottest singer in America, the first black teenage pop star. But here's what happened behind the scenes.
Do fools fall in love? Why do they fall in love?
George Goldner filed the copyright with the Copyright Office in 1956. He listed himself and Frankie Lymon as the sole co-authors.
Tell me why.
Not Herman Santiago, not Jimmy Merchant, even though they wrote the song. Goldner stole their songwriting credits. Then in 1957, during a tour in Europe, the group broke up.
Well, come on, baby, let's go downtown.
Goldner and Morris Levy started pushing Frankie as a solo artist. Frankie moved to Roulette Records, owned by Morris Levy. His solo career flopped. His voice had changed. By the early 1960s, Frankie was broke. He'd been working grocery jobs since he was 10 to help his family. The hit that made him famous, he never saw the royalties. In 1964, Goldner had gambling debts. So he sold his control of the Why Do Fools Fall in Love copyright to Morris Levy. Then in 1965, Frankie was a heavy drug user, addicted to heroin. He needed money desperately. So he sold his Why Do Fools Fall in Love rights to Morris Levy. Levy later said he paid Frankie $1,500. $1,500 for the song that made him a star, for the song that would generate millions in royalties over the next decades. Levy then amended the copyright registration. Now it listed Morris Levy and Frankie Lymon as co-authors. Not Goldner, not Santiago, not Merchant, just Levy and Lymon, which meant Morris Levy owned 100% of the publishing royalties.
Why do they fall in love?
In 1973, Why Do Fools Fall in Love appeared in the movie American Graffiti. Morris Levy received 100% of the royalties. In 1981, Diana Ross covered the song. It became a hit again. Morris Levy received 100% of the royalties. Meanwhile, the teenagers, the ones who actually wrote the song, got nothing. In 1969, 1 year after Frankie's death, Herman Santiago and Sherman Garnes went to Levy's office. They asked for their royalties.
I want you to be my girl, but love you, baby.
Morris Levy threatened to kill them. Santiago testified in court. Levy told us to leave his office or he would have us killed. In 1977, Jimmy Merchant and Sherman Garnes went to Levy's office. Same thing.
Please don't put my love on ice. I love.
Leave my office or I'll have you killed, Levy told them. In the 1980s, Merchant and Santiago tried again. Levy dismissed them by intimidating them.
Come and take me by the hand. Tell me.
They received threats after the meeting. Everyone knew Levy had connections. If that happened to the teenagers when they asked for money, what happened to Frankie?
Yeah, come on, baby, I love you so.
February 27th, 1968. Frankie was booked for a recording session, a comeback attempt. Instead, he was found dead that morning on his grandmother's bathroom floor. Heroin overdose. He was 25 years old. Some believe it wasn't an accident. Frankie had been clean.
Baby, say you want me 2, 3, 4, 5.
He was trying to make a comeback. He'd been talking with Levy about his unreleased songs and back royalties.
How I miss you, baby, baby, long to kiss you, baby.
Frankie, as an adult, understood the business better than he did as a kid. He wanted to be paid for the work he'd done.
Soon we'll be 3, 4, 5, 6, stop.
His first wife, Elizabeth Waters, said she'd seen Frankie right before he passed. He seemed happy. But when she saw his body, there was a bruise on his forehead. Perhaps there was a struggle. A needle was found next to Frankie's body, not in his arm, next to him. There was never an autopsy. After Frankie's death, dealers in his neighborhood promoted their product by saying, "My bag killed Frankie Lymon." In the late 1980s, the teenagers finally sued Morris Levy. They wanted their songwriting credits back and their royalties.
Why do they fall in love?
At trial, witnesses testified that Merchant and Santiago were 15-year-old street corner harmonizers who came up with the tune before Lymon joined them. They had evidence. The first 45 RPM single of Why Do Fools Fall in Love listed Herman Santiago as a co-writer. In 1993, a court found Levy's estate liable for $4 million in unpaid royalties. But Levy had sold Roulette Records and his publishing rights in 1988 for a sum estimated to be 10 times that amount. The teenagers' victory was later reversed on appeal in 1996. They lost everything. Frankie Lymon died at 25, broke, addicted, and exploited. The teenagers who wrote the song never saw a penny. Morris Levy made millions off Why Do Fools Fall in Love?
Why does the rain fall?
And when anyone asked to be paid, he threatened to kill them. That's how the mob exploited soul.